What's up, motorists, and welcome back to another episode of mReview, where today we are looking at a car I haven't tried in a hot minute. This is, of course, the BYD Seal. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notified of all our future uploads. So this is of course the BYD Seal. This was the first sedan that BYD Singapore brought in, and it looks pretty good even today. It's a couple of years old now. This car's been out in the market here in Singapore for a while, but it's received some improvements and some new variants introduced as well. So the headline Seal that came out a couple years back was the Seal Performance. That was the one that could do 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds. This one is the Seal Premium. So there is a 100 kilowatt Cat A Seal, and there's the Performance way up in Cat B, and then there's this, the Goldilocks child in the middle in Cat B COE as well. Now I'll get into a bit more of the power figures and performance stat later on, but from the outside, the Seal in premium trim is pretty much the same as you get on any of the other variants, which means you still get this kind of Ocean series front end, and of course the rest of the design that I think still looks pretty good. Now, of course, I still get my LED headlights and daytime running lights, and even though this is called the Seal, I've always felt this had a bit more of a sharp nose look to it with its sloping, pointed front end, and we'll see more Ocean-inspired quirks a little later on in the car. So along the side, one of the key differences between the variants is the rim size. So on the base spec dynamic trim, these are 18-inch rims, but on the performance and the premium spec, like this one, we get 19-inch rims in this kind of sporty aero style design, which I think looks quite cool. Now, we get this side strake that kind of looks like a set of gills. Remember the Ocean series that this car is from, and I think it's a neat little design touch on the Seal. Now, we also get, of course, keyless entry with door panels that automatically flush back into the door panel. And we see here the sleek sedan styling, as well as a couple more gill looking features back here. So here at the back of the Seal, you get a couple of neat design elements. One is of course the BYD signature at this point, smoke tail light look, and that goes across the whole rear light bar as well. Now we also have, of course, the diffuser, which on the Seal looks quite pronounced. I don't think it's entirely functional, but it does look pretty cool. Then we of course have the boot. Now this is an electric tailgate to reveal 400 liters of boot space. Now the boot opening is not that big, so this is going to be a bit of a squeeze, but I am a professional, which means I can still get in here perfectly fine. And of course, if I needed more space, I can always lower the rear seats. So here we are now in the back seats of the Seal, and it's actually a lot of space back here, even for somebody of my height. I'm 1.8 meters tall, and look at how much knee room I have. I've still got quite a bit of headroom, even though this is a fairly low-slung sedan, and I've got infinite footroom because it is a fully flat floor. Now, I also have a huge panoramic roof to look out of, and because the rear window is also right here, it's actually got this impression of just a top to toe piece of glass that goes the whole length of the car, which I think is really neat. Now back up here in the seat area, these seats are comfortable. They're slightly molded to each individual passenger, so they are very comfortable to sit in. I've got individual headrests, and of course, I have my armrest with cup holders here in the middle. I've got ISOFIX anchor points on both sides in case I want to put a child seat. And over here, I have two aircon vents, some storage, and a little cubby with Type A and Type C USB charging ports. So here in the front seats of the Seal, you can tell this is a bit of an older car. It's got the older BYD UI, but that's not to say it's lacking in capability or features. I've still got a heads-up display, I've got my DIN audio premium sound system, I've got my multifunction steering wheel with controls for the digital gauge cluster. I can rotate the center screen. I can also, of course, toggle my 360-degree camera. I can turn on and off my adaptive cruise control. Lots and lots of stuff you can do on this car. And of course, through the center screen, you can adjust everything from your car settings to play your karaoke, see your dash cam, and of course access your wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The seats are electric, of course, as well, and they are this very nice kind of one-piece back design that is kind of sporty looking but still very comfortable to sit in. I've got two wireless charging pads just in front of the crystal style gear lever. Here I also have some meter controls, volume controls, drive mode switches, hazard lights, cup holders, and in here another pretty deep cubby storage under the armrest. So it is still a nice place to be. Check it out. I've got suede across the door cards and the dashboard. I've got swoopy lines through the air vent area, and it is a well-styled car, I really do believe. So all that's left to do now is see if she drives as good as she looks. So here we are now driving the Seal. Now this is, as I mentioned earlier, the premium variant of the Seal. And for that I get 230 kilowatts or just over 300 horsepower. I also get 360 Newton meters of torque. Now that's enough to get me from 0 to 100. Even though this is not the performance variant, this is enough to get me from 0 to 100 in 5.9 seconds. A very healthy figure indeed. Now of course that means when I'm driving around in traffic, it makes it very easy to just cut into little spaces or gaps in the road where I want to overtake people. Now all of that power is sent to the rear wheels through a single electric motor on the rear axle, which makes this actually quite a fun car to drive. You get a nice low slung seating position, you feel kind of cocooned by the car. The steering is light and pretty direct. Braking wise, the pedal is on the softer side, but it does provide a good amount of bite. And the ride quality is also pretty decent. Now this is definitely going to be a little more harshly riding than something like the Sea Lion 7 we've taken a look at before. But that's not to say this is uncomfortable, quite the opposite. This is still a very comfortable car, but you do feel a bit more of the road when you're driving. Now the other big benefit of springing for the premium variant is that I get the larger battery option. So in the dynamic trim, you only get about 50 kilowatt hours of battery capacity. In this, 82.56 kilowatt hours, the same battery size that is in the performance variant. But because this has one less electric motor than the performance variant, I get a lot more range, up to 570 km on a full charge. And I can recharge at up to 150 kilowatts on a DC fast charger to get me back out on the road without any issue. But above all of the capabilities of the Seal, I mean, it's got, all of your adaptive cruise control, lane centering assist, blind spot monitoring, the full works of driver assistance and safety systems. But beyond all of that is, I just like being in a sedan again, because it is a breath of fresh air. After every other car, it's SUV, 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 SUV. It's nice to be able to be in a sedan again. Now this might be a slightly biased opinion, I will admit, because I've always been more of a sedan and station wagon guy myself. But still, my point, at least to me, stands, because when every other car is an SUV and they're roughly the same size and they're roughly the same kind of shape, it kind of just blends in. But this, as a sedan, one, it already looks different from the bulk of the cars on the road. Two, it is quite a unique looking sedan in and of itself, with the Ocean Series styling and whatnot, like I mentioned earlier. So if you ask me to choose, at any point, doesn't matter what car, doesn't matter what brand, if you ask me to choose between an SUV and a sedan, I'd always pick the sedan. And I find myself gravitating to the Seal more than I do some of the other models in the BYD lineup, purely for how it looks, because I really do think this is quite a good looking car. So even though it is now a couple of years old, I think the Seal still holds up. It's still a stylish car on today's roads, and it is still a very capable car even by today's standards. So if you're in the market for something a little different looking and a bit more stylish but still retains all that BYD flavor, then perhaps the BYD Seal is the car for you. always, thank you very much for watching this episode of mReview. Be sure to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.
Motorist